Hello there, my movie peeps. It's your boy, That One Asian Man. It's been a while since we have put on the camera and recorded. Freshman year was horrible, dude, but I miss it, man. But anyways, based on the subtitle, we're talking about a Mimic trailer breakdown with some crazy news because I'm gonna be honest, this trailer is it's really insane. I believe that this is going to be one of the best short films we have ever seen, and it will be better than Obsession. Well, that's all we're going to be talking about today. It's just our very first look at the official trailer of Mimic, and this was only released to specific people. I'm one of them. You already know it, boy. But yeah, so before we get into it, please make sure you just hit that like and subscribe button because, it'll really help your boy out. Let's get into it. The first scene starts with a car parking in downtown Orville. It parks right in front of the stores on the left, or the Orville State Theater, so that's how we know it's in downtown Orville. And the next scene after is an establishing shot of our main protagonist, Julianne, walking to a cafe. After, we see her looking out a window, almost as if she is watching someone. The following scenes are going to feature our characters for this film, who are a group of teenagers. Up first, we have Patula, and she asks Julianne when she sits down with the group, "Do you go to OHS?"
Anyways, do you go to OHS?
This line implies to us that Julianne is going to be a newcomer to the friend group, and she is most likely new to the town, or yeah. We then meet Liam, Leroy, and my least favorite of them all, Ewan. I'm going to continue on with my breakdown, but later on, I'll further explain more why I hate the Ewan character. Pushing that to the side, Julianne replies to Patla, no, but I'll be going there next year.
No, I don't, but I'll be going there next year.
So this confirms that Julianne does not go to OHS, and she most likely went to a whole different school. Our next scene is Julianne standing outside the cafe in a shot that resembles the amazing shot from Promise, which I directed. But the next scene is Ewan asking Julianne, "Wait, just you and your mom? What about your dad?" And we follow up on Julianne's mom in the car arguing with her ex-husband on the phone. The music kind of covers up some of her dialogue, but we can hear her say, "No, no, 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 no." And it's almost as if she's having some sort of disagreement with the ex-husband. We then cut to a scene of the group at Riverbend. Julianne has a VO over the scene, and she says, "My parents are separated. That's why we moved in the first place. My mom wanted a fresh start."
My parents are separated. That's why we moved here in the first place. My mom just wanted a fresh start.
So this does mean that the Julianne character is new to town, and she is just really trying to start a new life and a new beginning for her. And in the background of the shot, we see Ewan and Liam run into the water, while the other three kind of walk a little slower. The next scene is Julianne sitting down at the curb of the roundabout, and Leroy walking over to her to just sit down next to her. Then we see Julianne writing her number down on Leroy's arm, and all I gotta say is,
Sheldon Lee Cooper, you dog.
yeah, it's pretty sad and corny times for me. We then follow up on a scene of Leroy opening up the door for Julianne at a house and inviting her to come in. Julianne steps inside and Leroy shuts the door. We then cut to black as the tone of the trailer drops from a little more, happier to scarier. The next scene is Julianne, Patula, and Leroy all sitting outside on chairs in a circle. We then see Liam setting up his phone on a tripod, while Ewan in the background is drawing something on the ground in chalk. And I actually have a leaked photo of what Ewan was drawing, and you can see it here. So what you're looking at is basically a chalk drawing of a star inside of a circle. And we can see that in the star, there are symbols around it. Now, majority of people would be like, well, I don't really know what those symbols are and what they mean. I actually have an insider, director Jet Li, telling me what those symbols actually symbolize. So as you can see at this one is actually a backwards 6, and this one at the top is actually a backwards 7. What do you get when you add 32 plus 35? 67! But yes, and while Ewan's on the ground drawing, he questions Liam, "You're summoning a mimic?" And Liam replies with,
"Yeah, this ritual's for a mimic."
So the title Mimic is pretty self-explanatory, and yeah. But we also know that a mimic is something that pretends to be something else. And so it's almost as if they're like trying to like mimic somebody in this film. We cut to Ewan drawing the star on the ground, and in the background, Liam summons the spell.
Prince, veni ad me. Prince, veni ad me. Volo te venir et nos persecui esterco.
Now, something I actually noticed about the spell is that he says the name Prince. Do you know who Prince is? Well, this is Prince.
Daddy, I want a frog. Can we get the frog, Daddy? Can we get the frog?
No. This means that Prince is technically the mimic in the short film. And I actually stand very strongly by my theory on this. So if I'm wrong, like, I don't know. I'll do whatever the top comment says. So yeah, the shot after shows that Liam is bleeding from his neck. And Julian lets him know that he is.
Liam, you're bleeding.
We get intense shots of like the whole group looking weird and confused at each other. The scene after is Ewan pulling out his phone with his flash on looking for Liam. Ewan opens out like a little gate in the backyard and he calls out, "Dude, where are you? I just heard you, dude. Dude, where are you? I just heard you, dude."
Dude, like, stop. That was so funny. Like, dude, like, I was literally saying, like, bro.
Ewan then closes the gate and we hear something fall. And Ewan turns his head quick towards it. So you can see like right here, Ewan like kind of turns his head like that way, and there's a distraction towards the direction because you can see, or not see, but you can hear that the sound went off. And this is because back in the 1700s, so in AP European history, Machiavelli was actually the creator of the AP European historian printing press. And this is because when Nike first became a product, Michael Jordan signed with them and created Air Jordan, which is why the NBA is now institutionalizing LeBron James to kind of be the self-centered GOAT of the NBA, which I strongly stand by. Then, the next scene is Patla and Julianne sitting on swings, and Patla puts her hand on Julianne's. Now, if you ask me, this is definitely Yuri. But, I mean, I really feel like it's not going to work out between them because I think Leroy and Julianne are the love interest for each other, and it just would not make sense for, you know, Julianne and Patla to date. And I think Julianne just really sends the wrong message to Patla, which is why she kind of has this Yuri situation for her. Scene after shows Ewan on the ground, shining his light below something, searching for Liam. Then, Leroy and Julianne are sitting on a bed together, talking to each other and just having a conversation. But we get a scene of Ewan looking real dumb as heck and just jump scaring the group. Guys, this is like one of the reasons why I hate Ewan, because in a real horror movie, or like if you were in this scenario, why would you just jump scare your friends? Like, that's honestly really dumb. And if Ewan dies at that scene, I wouldn't even be surprised because he deserves that. Because if I was in like a horror movie, I would be real smart. I love horror movies, dude. Chucky is my man, my goat. So, like, just knowing how horror movies are, if you were to just jump scare somebody like that, bro, the following scene after is a very different than the last. So in this scene, Julianne is trembling with fear while holding a knife, and it looks like she's choosing between two people to kill. Now, this is where I think the mimic comes into play. Now, this is where I think the title mimic comes into play. I think she's choosing between to kill two people. One is the mimic, and the other is the real person. I believe the person she has to choose is Leroy. This only makes sense because Leroy is her love interest, and it would put her in a place of fear. So therefore, after the scene, we see Liam turn his head and rolling his eyes. And this kind of shows he has some sort of attitude. And we know that this is a scene of continuation of the ritual scene with Liam and Ewan. My guess is that Ewan kind of did something to piss off Liam or make him mad, which is why he's like, you know. Shortly after, we see Leroy and Julianne backing up on the bed. And they're going very fast and looking terrified. And what I think is happening on in the scene is they're confronting the real version of the mimic. A black scene cuts in with the text saying, "Who?" Then Pathla looking like she's stabbing Leroy while Julianne kind of stands in the back trying to get them to stop. Black scene again, this time it says "can." It cuts to Leroy, Julianne, and Pathla running outside the property of the house, looking scared and trying to escape. Black scene this time says "you." So far we have "who can you?" Let's keep that in mind. Then we get one of the most terrifying scenes I think the whole movie will get. So in this scene, it shows Liam sitting on the ground up against the wall with his hand covering his face. But in the dark background, we get a nod to Nikki from Obsession doing the awkward walk with the plant. We can see Ewan doing it in the dark background, and it's honestly just pretty scary. We can see Ewan doing it in the dark background, and I think this is really just a genuinely terrifying scene. The scene from Obsession was done so well, and I think director Jet was able to make this scene match the same level as Nikki when she did it.
What?
And you know, the scene from Obsession, they really did it so well. And I think director Jet, I think his brilliant mind is going to make this, you know, scene very close to it, but different in a way to where it's terrifying. We finally get the last word, trust. And together we get, who can you trust? Now, this question, who can you trust, kind of points to my theory from earlier about Julianne. So my theory, I was suggesting that, oh, Julianne, you know, she has to choose between killing a real Leroy or a mimic Leroy. And I think this theory kind of, you know, sits there because she has to kill a mimic Leroy or the real Leroy. Okay, sorry guys, I low-key just lost all of my media for one of the recordings I did. But basically, I'll sum up the last part. So in the last scene, we get to see Liam, he's sitting on the ground up against the wall. Except only this time, he's like, just, you know, he looks still a little more mad. And then Ewan whispers very fast and faintly, "Look here, look here." And, you know, that scene from the trailer kind of reminds me of when when Nikki was doing it to Bear from Obsession.
Go back to sleep.
Liam then says what a little louder.
What?
So Liam then turns his head, except when he turns his head to look at whatever just whispered, he looks very scared and like very terrified. Like he just saw something that was not like normal. And so yeah, that summarizes that scene. And the last couple shots of the trailer just tells us we'll be getting a release date of September 6th. So yeah, my overall thoughts on the film, this is going to be a great and spectacular film. I cannot wait to see it. I do think that Video Production Club, they are doing a very great and fantastic job. And I'm so glad to see their growth from a letter to when they did Promise and When Realities Collide to now Mimic. And I really hope that in the future they produce a bunch of more great and films for us to keep on watching. And it's just so weird. Sorry for the camera angle. I had to do something. But it's just so weird because he is a freshman becoming a sophomore who's like 15. And he's still doing stuff like 6'7", 6'7". And that's just not funny, dude. You little idiotic dweeb. Also, he can't even get through his lines without laughing. Like in the scene where he has dialogue, he's like, "Oh, but what about just you and your mom? What about your dad?" Like he's laughing while he's trying to get through it. Wait, just you and your mom? What about your dad? I mean, yeah, he's a decent director. But if you were to tell me Ewan's directing the film, I'm going to go buy a ticket. But if you were to tell me Ewan's acting in the film, I'll wait till the final trailer to go watch. But yes, this concludes my trailer breakdown of Mimic. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And please take this into consideration that the film, or not the film, but the crew, Video Production Club, they worked so hard on this movie. They spent a long time filming, and it was just so long. I could know. But yeah. But this concludes my review and breakdown of the trailer. I really can't wait to watch this movie. I am going to be there premiere day at the Oroville State Theater to go watch it. So I'll let y'all know, and I'll give you guys a movie review when that comes out. But for now, no spoiler reviews because school's in the way, and I got like AP Ball and AP Euro history. You know, I'm doing so good at that. Yeah, that's all for today, my movie peeps. Make sure you guys please hit that like and subscribe button. It's really going to help me out. For now, this probably might be my only video for like a good like 2-3 weeks to a month or 4 years. As always, my name is Ewan. Take care.